And I sat down and got everything going, got my stream title set up, and looked around behind me going, crap, what'd I forget? And anyway, I had on some real pretty turquoise jewelry this morning, and I was connecting with Kuan Yin, just sitting here for a minute, being quiet. And my spirit felt so stinking heavy. I mean, I felt heavy. And so finally I was looking around trying to figure out why. And I looked and I said, is my turquoise too heavy for me? And she said, oh, yeah, man, this ring is so big it almost hit me in the ear. So I took that turquoise off real quick. Good morning, Shelly. Good morning, Sheila. Jewelry makes a difference. If you put on a gemstone, a natural stone, if you put on a quartz, if you happen to have a real cool looking little Vesuvianite, you put that on, or you just got a real awesome little quartz that you want to, throw on a chain. Feel how your moods change. Feel how your energy feels. If you don't feel uplifted when you put on a stone, check. See if that stone's right for you. And you can ask it. I don't have a stone on right now, but oftentimes, and this is interesting, I think, I'll hold up the necklace and I'll say, are you the right one for me today? And it'll tell me no. Okay. Because I want my energy to balance. And the stones that you wear, the rings you wear, this one is purple turquoise. It's called purple copper turquoise. Beautiful stone. This one is an organite ring, and it is moonstone and sunstone, aquamarine and sunstone together. Which doesn't really balance out, but it's pretty. It's pretty. What do we got going on over here in comments? I'm over on, and I just want you to know, I did a reading for a person who was referred to me by someone else, Tammy, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Tammy, for that. And she doesn't do social media at all. So she had never even heard of me. And so I said, you find me on DLive. And sometimes you can find me on YouTube too. So I decided, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and start casting over on YouTube too at the same time. And that way, for those that don't watch Facebook, and there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that don't do Facebook or social media at all. My sister was a Twitter fan, but she would not do Facebook at all. So, good enough. So we're casting all over the place this morning. So good morning to Shelly Hood, first one in the house. Good morning to you, lovely. I'm so glad you're here. So glad to see you. Sheila Littmeyer's with us. Julie Cole, good morning to you. Krista Naomi Finley says, good morning, my lovelies. Happy Monday, my friends. Happy Monday to you all. Good morning to you, Melissa and Lisa Baker Sunshine. I'm so happy to see you this morning. We miss you, and that's not to make anybody feel guilty, I promise, because I know life happens. And I know, hey, there's Allie. Good morning to you, love. Good morning. There are times when you have to take a media break. You have to just get off of social media altogether for a while. Take a computer break if you need to. But if what is going on your Facebook page is driving you away, or your Twitter page, or Tumblr, or I signed up for one, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. I can't think of the name of it, because I've been looking for different types of feeds. And dadgummit, if let me get this straight. If I didn't forget what I was saying. I'm trying all these different news feeds. Anyway, this one that I tried, and I don't remember the name of it because it irritated me so much I finally had to just take it off my phone. I would get like 800 messages a day, and they wouldn't all pop up at one time. they would pop up and say, there are 797 new messages on this feed. And I'd be like, good for them. I don't know anybody over there except for one person. And I don't know why they're talking so much today. So I X'd that one out real quick. Derry's with us. Good morning to you, Derry. No school for Julie in her neighborhood. Hope this cold lets up soon. Good. Oh, me too. Melissa said no school here today to the cold. It is. It's too darn cold. It was 9 below here in Kansas City at 7 a.m. this morning. 9 degrees below zero is stinking cold for this part of the country. We might dip below zero once in a great while. You know how they talk about 100-year floods? Well, this is like a 100-year winter for us, or maybe a 30-year winter. We don't normally stay below freezing. And, boy, when we do. So everybody up north of me, wintertime is drunk on my front lawn. Please come pick them up. They need to find their way home. I saw that meme on Facebook. It cracked me up. Oh, excuse me for that. Finally had a relaxing weekend. I did. And I hope you all did too. It was Valentine's Day after all. Teaching is suspended. Melissa, our kids in class teaching is suspended as of last Tuesday. Homeschooling again. Damn COVID. Dadgum. That's right, Krista. That's right. Krista's up in Newfoundland, and she was telling me this weekend that they've gone back into lockdown on their COVID. So sorry. And sending lots and lots of good positive energy that way. Julie said, I haven't seen it here like this since I was a kid. You know what? I agree with that. It has been a long time. 9 inches expected there in PA. Oh, my God. 9 inches. Holy crap. That's a lot of snow. Colette's bragging. It's 52 degrees there today. But I bet that's chilly for the UK. I bet it is. So, yeah, on the weather. Oh, today's President's Day? See, there you go. There you go. It's President's Day. Happy President's Day, everybody. I think I was having weird dreams last night. I was having the kind of dreams where I was receiving a lot of information. And to be honest with you, I don't know what was real and what was a dream. I don't know what I heard because I didn't watch a lot of news yesterday. As a matter of fact, my husband and I watched a movie last night and then went to bed. And this just caught my attention. Newsflash. Speaking of news, Diane's on with us this morning. Diane Rousseau. Good morning, love. Thank you for popping in here. She's saying South Texas is having power outages today and 5 inches of snow. I saw that this band of snow, this cold air, is all the way down into Mexico. Well into Mexico. I couldn't believe it. My mouth dropped. I've never seen snow. In the northern parts of Mexico, yes. In the mountains, of course. But not in the northwestern part of Mexico. That's kind of like our southwestern desert. It continues on down. It can snow. That's just insane. Sheila said, my daughter is down near Mexico in McAllen, Texas, got freezing temps and ice. She woke up without power this morning. I understand that is what's going, that there's power outages all over Texas, Louisiana. I assume that whole swath. Alabama, I think, is getting hammered. And Louisiana was a skating rink. It was the next skating rink in this particular storm. So there was a lot of accidents there too. So Julie said, I had a dream, although I'm sure it was a visitation. My daughter and I ran to each other and hugged tight and cried. Oh, honey. I'm sure that was a visitation too and not a dream. That's beautiful. I'm so glad you had that dream or had that visitation. Lisa said it's cold and snowing there in southern Missouri. It finally let up on the snow here. Oh, excuse me. I digress. It's still snowing here, and I think it's supposed to snow until about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Julie said when they get ice and snow, everything shuts down. It shuts down everything. Talking about Texas. Staying in Texans drive like crap in the snow. Yeah, they do, because they don't ever get it. You know, they use a spade to shovel their sidewalks. You know, it's terrible. Tennessee also, said Sheila. You're watching till the power goes out. Oh, honey, I hope you don't lose power. I hope you don't lose power. We lost power for about 15 seconds. And I was cooking at the time, and thank God I have a gas stove. Because, I mean, that's one reprieve. And really, honestly, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have a gas stove. Because it's not uncommon in this community to lose power. And to lose power for days. I think my dad went 2 weeks without power one time. And they just almost froze out. You know, but he had a fireplace. And they started getting real low on wood, and they were trying to think of what else they could do. Hell, man, I'd have been banging on some families' doors. Take me in. It's cold. And if I didn't want to do that, I would have tried to find a motel and made a deal, you know, get my insurance to cover it. I would have been on the phone making some arrangements. I wouldn't stay 2 weeks in no power. I mean, that's just, that's not good. It's not good. People do it all the time. I realize that. I really do. I recognize that it's not impossible. Good Lord in heaven, though. That's what family and friends are for. You know, if I lost power, and back in the day, before we had cell phones, kick my shoe off, I'll put it back on. Before we had cell phones, when you lost power, you lost your phone. And there was no calling anybody. You didn't get to do that. You just had to get up and go or weather it out. And I think this 2 week stretch of time for Dad was pre-cell phone. And he's a stubborn man, was a stubborn man. Terrible. What's going on up here? Because Julie Cole said, Allie, at the very least, keeping people home so they don't spread it. Hopefully this is Mother Nature's cure for the pandemic, a good old freeze out. And that's what I was saying too. You know, we have to have below zero temperature sustained for a day. I think it's 3 days. And it kills off a lot of bugs, not just viruses, but creatures, you know, because mosquitoes, those little beetles that stink, the little red and black ones with the red dot on them, those things stink. And there's a lot of insects, though, but there's also so many viruses that'll get killed off because of this cold. So let it be cold. Diane's praying for calm. I'm praying for everyone to just stay in. Lisa said there's a layer of ice under the snow, so it is slick. Oh, that's right. You guys got an ice storm before you started the snow. And that was a lot. Southern Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, a lot. That was a huge swath of people that had some horrible weather. And Julie, you are right. It is at the very least keeping people home so they don't spread this contagion, this virus. How many flu epidemics have anybody heard about yet? Hear about the flu sporadically. I mean, like, rarely have I heard about the flu. Oh, Sheila said I'm not excited for the ice we're supposed to get. They say up to a half an inch of ice and then snow. Man, you know, my dad was a firefighter for a while, a volunteer fireman, but he led the way. He and Jack Hott, H-O-T-T. I always loved that name for a fireman. I really did. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. Anyway, he and Jack Hott led the way for some stunning improvements to the city of Cleveland and the surrounding areas volunteer fire department. They even went up to Minnesota, I think is where the fire trucks are built. And they drove up to Minnesota to order the fire truck, make sure that they got everything they needed on it, because they wanted it to be a bush fire truck too, because there's a lot of wildfires out here. Not a lot, but occasionally when it's real hot, dry season. So they ordered a lot of specialty things to this fire truck, and they got to go up and watch the assembly line and take a tour. And it was kind of at the height of my dad's firefighting time when they were doing that, when they were working on that project. Anyway, I don't know why I was telling you that. I am not real together today. I tried. That's why I was late, as a matter of fact, because I was trying to really connect with my guides and just have a nice, smooth show today. But no, of course not. Of course not. Had that turquoise on too long because I had taken it off. Matter of fact, I was popping this earring on whenever I went live. Oh, shoot. You cannot drive in ice. You know, my husband talks about four-wheel drive and how great it is. And four-wheel drive is great, but you cannot drive anything on ice. It doesn't matter if it's got eight-wheel drive. Unless it's got a track on it. If you got something that's got a track, you might be in good shape. I've seen those, by the way. I've seen some new tractors in this area, and I guess it's standard equipment now. But I'm used to the skinny front wheels, the two little bitty front wheels, which I never understood, and then the giant back wheels on a tractor. Well, the new thing is tank treads. It's a track, and it can go through the field. I think the one that I saw, because I saw one going down the road, so they're not, I don't know, maybe they're not military grade. I don't know what the heck they are. I've never looked at one up close, though I would love to. I would love to. Tractors are pretty cool. If she thinks my tractor's sexy, if that bad boy had tracks on it, I'd think that thing was sexy. Oh, shoot. Pam's with us. Good morning to you, Pam. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about power lines. Make sure you have candles. You know, if you have candles burning safely, I mean, it's on plates, and you have the big emergency candles that will last you for 12, 14, 16 hours, some even longer than that, and you burn 3 or 4 of them and you stay in one enclosed room, like a center room of your house, you can stay warm. You can stay warm. It's not a lot of fun, so make sure you have some decks of cards and some board games, but you can stay warm. Do not ever, ever, ever build any kind of fire, not a propane fire, not a little wood fire, unless you have a proper place to do that, like a chimney and a flue that lets the carbon monoxide escape, because if you do not do that, you will die. Don't burn charcoal inside of your house. Don't get creative like that. You have to have ventilated spaces to burn any kind of emergency canisters. You know, so don't do that stuff. Burn your candles, yes. You could even have your emergency lanterns with the oil, the old-fashioned kinds with the wick. But don't bust out your little Bunsen burners and don't. Just be safe. Be safe. Leave the house. Go to family if you can. If it's too icy and you can't get out, and go to your center room in your house, even if it's a closet. Take everything out. You can put it all back. But create you a space. Hang blankets if you need to shorten an area. Hang blankets, ceiling to floor. And create an area that you live. This is it. You know, and you don't go to the other parts of your house, because as soon as you move one thing, you're letting all that cold air in. And you'll be surprised how warm you can stay. But you just have to be safe about it. And have a backup power bank for your phone, because we're so used to having electronic devices, our phones and our chargers, to plug them in, and then we're still on the phone when our chargers are plugged into them. I know, because I'm one of those people. I listen to things on the phone. I use it more for a computer or a radio than anything. And I have a couple of battery banks for a backup power supply, but you have to recharge those too. And so right now would be the perfect time to gather all of your essential supplies and find that one area in your house, even if it's your bedroom. If it's your bedroom, at least you can keep it warm. You can hang blankets, or you can tape aluminum foil over your window frame to keep, if you have leaky windows. I have a leaky window in my bathroom. It drives me insane. That bathroom's always cold. And anyway, you can do things like that. And when the power comes back on, or when it's safe to leave the house, when it's safe to return, you can put your things back. But find that room that you feel the most comfortable in, and then windproof it as much as you can. If you have an electric skillet, find a good safe space to plug it in, and to where you have to leave as little as possible. You don't have to spend any time outside of that room. Gather up all of your board games and put in there. Get your books. Just be prepared. That's the thing. That's the thing about anything. I'm always talking about getting your bug out bags together, but it's not just in case of an attack from a foreign enemy or domestic. It is simply for an occasion like this. Weather happens all of the time, and you need to have a bag that has essential items in it, and that's all it has is your essential items. It might be an axe. I had a hand axe. I always have knives. I always have a multi-tool. Little pliers, screwdriver, all of that. Little multi-tool is included in that bag. Some kind of peanut butter and crackers that I'll change out, because nobody wants to eat a can of 5-year-old peanut butter because you never changed it out. Clean socks, clean underwear. And usually I have a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt in there too. And then after that, might be medical first aid kit kind of needs. And they're always in Ziploc bags, so that I could smash it, get all the air out of them, and have as much room as possible. I've always got dehydrated food, because I'm always dehydrating food. So all of these things can be put into a bug out bag. And then if you have an emergency in the middle of the night, you grab your flashlight, because you always have a flashlight with batteries in it near where you are. I have one beside a chair in my living room, and one in my bedroom, and I have one in my kitchen under the sink. And I have those things there because that way I'm not, if there was a power outage, or if the weather was really bad and I needed to grab one quick, I have access to 3. They're not that expensive. And it can be the difference between life and death sometimes. I kept an axe in mine because I live in Tornado Alley. I mean, literally, Tornado Alley. And so I'm not thinking about cutting down my neighbor's tree for firewood, because Lord knows I don't have any trees in my yard. And the one that I do have, I'm not going to cut it down for firewood. That's going to be my shade when the weather changes. I'm thinking more about if I was in a tornado and I have a backpack on, but my house collapsed, and I was able to, I could at least have a hatchet that will help me get my way out. So, I'm thinking multi-purpose. If I happen to take a run out into the woods, then yeah, I could chop a few limbs with that little hatch, and I could take care of myself, start a fire, because there's matches in there, as well as lighter, as well as a lighting tool, sparker. So these things are important, and it's not fear porn. It's not. It's thinking ahead. In my car every winter, And I put a bag in there, and that bag has the same thing: sweatshirt, sweatpants, clean socks. First off, gloves. It's got an extra hat in there because you don't know what you might need. But there's also a blanket, candles, a first aid kit, and I could put flares in there, but I don't have any put in there. But you can put flares in there. You can put peanut butter in there, some crackers. You could put Cheez-Its, little snacks. You could put dehydrated foods in case you have to sit for a while. I've heard of an old couple that survived 3 days on a logging road in a blizzard in Oregon because they got lost going up the mountains. They were going to see their grandson or their son or something. They were lost for 5 days because it snowed so much it buried them. That's no small thing. And they turned off on the wrong road and ended up on a logging road. I don't know if you guys have ever been out into the mountains and seen a logging road, but they're not well kept. I mean, they're strictly logging roads, so they're not well traveled either. They survived for 5 days on a pack of gum and I think some mints. And they melted water for snow. But they had blankets and they had a candle. They had things to help keep them warm. And that's also by the grace of God, too. It's by the grace of God that couple survived. Protecting themselves against it. You're right, Julie. You're right. She said, because I asked earlier about the flu, if anybody heard anything about the flu. Pardon me. Julie Cole said, I think by being careful about COVID, inadvertently they're protecting themselves against the flu, too. 100% agree. Sheila's pretty sure they're going to lose power. Again, start gathering. Just start gathering now and figure out where you're going to go. Putting chains on the truck tires. I don't even know that they sell chains, at least not in this area anymore. They might in the mountains, and I know truckers still use chains on their tires. Yeah, chains do help. Oh, Lisa Baker doesn't owe taxes. Amen to that, sister. God, you ought to party on that one. Julie Cole said she saw how to take one of those like ceramic planters, the orange ones, and put it over a candle, and it would keep you warm in a car. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they really do put out a lot of warmth, and I understand what you're saying, because if you took a ceramic pot and put it over the candle, that pot would retain the heat, and it would expand it even more. I like that. I like that idea. Colette's just having breakfast. Oh, man, I'm still glad you're with me. Tina's with us this morning, too. So nobody's awake over on D-Live or YouTube or Twitch, and that's okay. Hot cuppa, tortilla soup. Well, you are having a spicy hot cuppa this morning. I got my tea here. I got more tea ready for me when I'm done with this cup. Life is good. Now, I think I'm going to work on some grids today. I had an appointment. I'm going to reschedule that bad boy because I'm not going anywhere. I have no desire to leave this house today. None whatsoever. I hope you guys enjoyed Valentine's Day, though, with someone that you loved or liked a whole lot. That's always good. That's always good. Allie said she said she has a tornado basket in her hidey hole. Good for you. But I need to make a bug out bag. Well, and so many times, my God, we start thinking about bug out bag. We start thinking about the military rolling down the streets telling us to roll up our sleeves, That might be somebody's idea of bugging out, I hope to be gone long before that happens. I hope to have a heads up from Spirit and hit the road. Yeah, see, Diane, I have natural gas. Oh, you have natural gas. That is also one of the perks for living out in the country. I mean, it's a good, it's a bad in this part of the country. when you have a propane tank, and we're talking about the real big 250-gallon propane tanks, the oblong white ones that sit out in people's yards, that's because they don't have the city gas pipelines coming out to the house yet. But it'll be there soon. Maybe 20 years, but it'll be in the plan, believe me. And so if they want to use natural gas at all, they have to have propane, and the propane tank gets filled up once, twice a year, however often you need it. Usually it's if you have gas stove, gas furnace, gas hot water heater, you'll fill it up more often than if you just have a gas furnace, for instance. And so ours, we would fill up once a year, because I think it was just our furnace and our stove that ran on the propane. But I tell you what, man, filling those suckers up is very expensive. And it's like the gas pump. The prices fluctuate, and it's what you happen to order that day that the price is what you get. And they tell you it's running, $2.99, $5.99 a gallon, whatever. And they'll tell you how much it costs to fill up your tank. Good Lord, it can be expensive. And then the weather has to be right. So you do not ever want to run out of propane in the wintertime, because you may or may not get your tank full. If it's sloppy, muddy winter and it's just cold and nasty out, they can't get their truck back there, because the tanks are usually back behind the house. And they're usually settled off in the grass somewhere. There's not a road up to it. And so if it's a sloppy, muddy day, they will not fill your tank. If it's winter like this, where they might get stuck in the snow, not going to fill your tank. So you got to make sure you have your tank filled by October. Filled by October, not ordered in October, filled by October. Because I think August, September, and October are their busiest months in this part of the area, and it could be 3 or 4 weeks out. So you have to know. Lisa Baker, wow, went through 400 gallons of propane last month. Oh, honey, that's terrible. 400 gallons of propane is a lot. A lot. Man. I've lived on propane often. Ooh, and I set that right on top of my necklace. I don't know what I was thinking. I spilled a little bit. What else is going on? Let's see. Hand warmers are necessary for a bug out bag. Good thought on that one, Lisa. You're right. Hand warmers are definitely a necessity. My dad built everybody one year for Christmas, and nobody appreciated it. My dad is one of these people. I guess I'm a lot like him. I really believe that the handmade gifts, the personal gifts, are the best gifts. And so every year my dad tried to make something for Christmas and give it out to everybody. Sometimes they dig it, sometimes they didn't. But this 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, before he died, he decided that he wanted to make personal safety kits for people's cars. And so he included in it, I might have one in here. I think I've got one sitting right here because I took it. No, I don't. But he used this size of a box, just like shoebox size. And he put inside of it, he bought sheet plastic. See my pillow? I'm telling you, this is funny. I don't know why I got off of here, because now I have to climb back on it. He bought sheet size. So silly. A sheet of plastic. And he and I cut such a long piece, like on the fold, so we could fold it all up and it would fit back in that shoebox. And so we had the plastic, we had gloves, there was hand warmers, there was a small little dollar store $2 first aid kit, flashlight, a whistle, and a deck of cards and a candle. And add to it, but he made that so Ed had one to put in their trunk. And he said no matter what the weather, if it was winter time or if you were stuck out in the rain and you went off the road and you didn't have any shelter, he said at least this way the plastic you could hang up on a tree and create a shelter. Or if it's cold and it's wintertime, he said that plastic will keep you warm. And so I thought that was a fabulous idea. There were a lot of people disappointed because they were used to getting those cash rewards for Christmas until Grandma died. And then when Grandma died, those cash rewards ended and he started creating Christmas for people. And I loved it. That's always was my favorite gift, is something that someone makes. So he made rubber band guns one time. That was so much fun. He had all of his grandkids and they were just little wooden, they looked like a pistol, but he glued a safety pin to the trigger and notched out the front of it so you could take one of those nice package-sized rubber bands and stretch it back. And you put it in the notch, stretch it back, and put it in the, when you open up the paper clip, there's a notch there. You set it right on that notch, and everything's loaded. And he made a Gatling gun. He made a Gatling gun from wood. And that was the coolest thing. It was a rubber band gun. It was the coolest thing I ever saw. He didn't fire it very much because it took a long time to set it up. But he had different boards, different little ends, and he had nailed to wrap the rubber bands around. And then he had a coil of wire on this side that he wrapped, and he would layer his rubber bands. And then every time he put a new layer of rubber bands on, he would put a layer of coil on there, right? And so he would wind the coil like this. It would turn the Gatling gun, and the coil, the wire, was popping them off these pins that he had on there so he could rapid fire a rubber band gun like nobody's business. It was the greatest invention I ever saw for a kid's toy. I don't know whatever happened to that thing. I don't know where it ever got off to. I wish I had it. Just because it was so fun and it was so unique. So, all right. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let's get back over here. Let's see. Chris and Naomi is agreeing with me. Handmade gifts are best straight from the heart. Diane added water, dry food, a Mylar blanket, hand warmers, maybe a little alcohol, right? And a flare. Well done, Diane. Well done. Thank you. Dee Dee Mann's in the house. Cindy Delay's with us. Carl Perry's hanging out. Good to see you all. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. I'm ready to pull a card. I am about ready to pull a card. Oh, you guys want to see what I got? I'm going to start a class. If you're in the Kansas City area and you are interested, this class is called Learning Your Crystal Faces. I have it posted up on Little Sister of the Earth on Facebook. I need to post it up over on Instagram too. It may already be. I don't know. And it is not the first 3 weekends in March. It is actually, let me see my date here. I got my calendar. I've been working hard. I tell you, I really have been working crazy hours. But I did take half the weekend off. I rested all day yesterday. It is the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. Cost is $20, but you do get to take home stuff with you. Midtown Cava from 1 to 3, how to read your crystals' faces. You can pay at the door, you can pay me ahead of time, but there's limited seating, so I encourage you to reserve a date if you're interested, because of social distancing, because of regulations, we can only allow a max of 6 people per class. So if you're interested, it's going to be great. And I have new crystals, and I want to share them with you. I want to show you about some of these. This one is amazing. Do you remember? And I know that Leslie was asking me about ET crystals and how you can get them, and I said you just have to get lucky. An ET crystal is ET stands for extra termination. So this is one of the beauties that I just recently got from my vendor, Otta. He gives me some of the most incredible deals and incredible pieces. Look at this. This is a big fat. And so I'm going to teach you what this face right here versus this face means. How many faces each side. They all matter. They all matter. But this one also happens to be, let me see if I can catch all the sparkles on it. I know you can see it. That is an ET crystal. Look at all those terminations. This is one of those. There you go. This is one of those that were broken in situ, which means in its original location. It had grown, fallen over, broken for whatever reason. Maybe the earth moved and shook it up a little bit. And it started growing again. It started healing itself. Powerful, powerful, huge amounts of energy in this stone. Absolutely amazing. Colette said she just got a letter from her bank saying they owe her 30 pounds, 62 pence. That's stinking amazing for missold payment. PPI, I won't spend it all at once in one shop. You might spend it all at once in one shop. Colette, I see a crystal shop in your future. Oh, shoot. So yeah, so I finally got my crystals in for this class. And I think people need to learn. Look at that smoker. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I think people want to learn too. I mean, you got your crystals, now what do you do with them? Because you know it's more than just something pretty to look at. This thing's got a lot of energy to it too. And I love Smokies. Smokies are so soft on their energy. And look at that. They don't get rainbows. Let's see if I can flash a rainbow up here for you. Where are you at? Maybe, maybe not. The rainbows come because of the injuries to the stone. They're there because there's fractures in them. This one is one of my favorites. And this is a stander. I don't know what to call this one yet. I haven't researched it enough. You want that crystal? I know it. Carl said she's always spending in there. Check this formation out. It's an X. I mean, and it's the formation. It's not me doing it. So this is significant. I just don't know how, in what way yet. And this is used for something specific. I just don't know what it is yet. But I will find out. And that'll be part of the class. You know, I'll tell you when you see a formation like this. Because I want to be able to have the papers with what you're looking at. So I'll take a picture of all my crystals. I'll start working on this today. I feel like doing some photography today. And start working on what this crystal is, the definition, how you read the face, and then how are you going to use it? What would you use this for? What would you use this for? I would use it definitely gridding because it stands beautifully. It just stands so pretty. Well, there, now it's standing. But it will stand on its own. And I think that it would be a double push of energy. It does look like an angel. It kind of does look like an angel wing, doesn't it? That's beautiful. So if you're in the area, take the class. You'll be able to hold these and see these and look at these. Plus, I've got a big bowl of smaller crystals that I'm going to have everybody just like grab a handful, go sit at the table, and start identifying faces. Because every crystal has the same basic 7 faces. And every crystal with those basic 7 faces have 7 specific functions. And anyway, that's it. That's it. What else? Have I got another new favorite? Don't know. I don't know, but there are some amazing clusters. There are some amazing big pieces. He gave me, and we've worked together for several years, and he is my vendor for my big crystals. I don't know any. I mean, I could go to China and get them. Maybe cheaper even, but I can't get the prices. I cannot get the prices. These are in the red circles around them. They have water in them, anhydro. So these are anhydro crystals. The thing is, you can't see them unless you're using a magnifying glass. This one is huge, but you can't see it unless you're really looking at it with the glass. But it's got a great big hollow pocket in there with the water, and it just travels. Even this little bitty guy has got a little bubble of water in it. So anhydros are they're not real common. You know, you'll find them every now and again, and sometimes you'll find them and the vendor won't even know that they're there. But oftentimes they'll take a crystal like that and they'll put it under the microscope has a screen that stands up like this, you know, and so they just take a little wand and they just go over the crystal until they find a bubble or something in it, and they circle it and set them aside. So that's how they find them. Melissa Scott sent me a PM, girl. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you for that, Allie. I will check that out. Sounds like a great class and good information. Lisa, I think it's going to be a fun class. I really do. I'm going to put more things into it, but it is going to be about understanding. I mean, you'll understand about why you see the rainbows. How to use the crystals is so important. It really is so important. If you're using crystals to do any kind of energy work, and you could also consider it a primer for the Crystal Reiki classes, because I will be giving a level 1 Crystal Reiki class. I have scheduled in April. This one is also limited seating, and this one is a prepay. This is level 1 Crystal Reiki from 11 to 4 p.m. on April 17th at Midtown Cava. So that one there is going to be limited seating, 6 people max, and it'll probably be my only class that month. I'm not sure. Right, Julie? Or excuse me, Melissa said that would be great in a Reiki session, just sitting up at the crown chakra or down between the feet on the table. You're talking about the anhydro? Yeah. The anhydro, the energy of the water is so strong. It's so strong. And it is literally millions of years old. Millions of years old. It just will drop of water lands in a pocket and doesn't evaporate, and it just seals right up. You love rough crystals the best, but the smooth ones as well. You know, some are called half polished. And a half polished crystal would be something similar to this that would be really nice and shiny. They don't change the shape of it necessarily. They just freshen it up a little bit, take off some of the rough, but they leave the rough base. So the big crystal back there, the white, that one right there, beside my book of shadows, that one's called a half polish. And I like those a lot too. Krista, I wish you could come. I really do. You know, I'm thinking very seriously, maybe Melissa or Julie or somebody, we could get together and find a space. And if there's enough interest, you know, if 6 people in Iowa want to take my Crystal Reiki class, I would be more than happy to travel to Iowa and offer that class, but I just have to find a place to be able to do it. But I would travel for it. I would travel to you guys if there were enough people up north that wanted to take the Crystal Reiki. Oh, the big X crystal, that's what you're talking about for the head or the feet chakra. You're right about that. Ooh, I never thought about it. Louisiana is having whiteout conditions. Ugh. Lord, this is one of the biggest snowstorms east to west coast right now. And it's just an enormous winter storm. Allie's headed down to the classroom. Oh, Allie's going to take Crystal Reiki. Yay! that's very cool. That's very cool. Nice. Tina said she's going to take that crystal Reiki class. I'm excited to give it. I really am. It's been a while. Um, and anyway, cool. That's perfect. That's perfect. Let's pull some cards, guys. What do you say? My hands, I'm stiff this morning. I think it's because of crappy weather. I've got my furnace set on 68, and it doesn't seem like it shuts off. If it does, it's only for about 5 minutes, and then it kicks right back on again. My dogs want to go outside and stay out for hours and play in the snow, and they don't understand why I won't let them. And then, Melissa, this is for you, love. Coming your way today. I got new packages for my tea, and so I bought 2 ounce and 4 ounce sizes, because you can buy my tea in 1 ounce if you want. You can buy it by the ounce. Yeah, buy it by the ounce. And instead of you having to pay, I know she did. Melissa did some great card pulls. I missed Melissa's, but I did watch Dee Dee's. So sorry. Sky loves the snow, but Iola hates it. It's the same with Buddy and Luna. Buddy's an Australian Shepherd. Luna's a Siberian Husky, so go figure. So these tea packages, they have the opening or the window in it so you can see that it's tea, and it's sealed shut with a Ziploc here. But this part heat seals, and I happen to have a heat sealer. Just happen to have one, literally. So this is going to be my new packaging for the tea. It will cut the expense greatly, because for one thing, my jars were just a little less than $1 each, about 40 for $35. So it's about 95 cents each, give or take. I'm not quick with math. I estimate and guesstimate. And these were like $10, $12 for 50. And so that knocks the price down a lot for the tea. And then shipping. I can ship this in an envelope to you. And I can ship it anywhere. I'll ship it to the UK. If you don't mind paying for the shipping, I'll ship it to you. I don't mind. I might even work out a deal with you. But anyway, so I got 4 ounce and 2 ounce sizes. So life is good. I like this packaging so much better because I don't have to charge so much for the tea now. And that makes me happy. That makes me happy. That makes me very happy. So, looky here, my phone's listening to me again. I didn't understand that. You guys' phone do that? Just because, my hands were up here, my phone was down here. I didn't touch my phone. She listens all the time. I have no doubt. I wasn't talking to you. Shipping is horribly expensive. And I really loved those jars that I first got. But I realized that shipping glass is a ridiculous amount of money. The first time I shipped it to Iowa, I was like, oh, that's stupid. That is stupid, man. Who wants to pay for that much shipping? So, anyway, this makes much more sense. And it's safe. It's safer. It's not going to spill everywhere. I can heat seal it across the top. You can tear it off, and it's resealable. It's plastic lined, so it's going to keep its flavor. So I like it. I like it. Oh, you're excited for the tea. I'm excited for you to have the tea. I really am. Pam said, my lab, Abby, hates the cold and snow, and Danu, my part Siberian wolf, part wolf, loves the snow. Yeah, it is. Hey, there's Leslie. Good morning to you, sweetheart. I actually have a very small, not very small, it would be probably about this big. It is a ET crystal. that I just happened to find in my bowl. And so I picked it out and set it aside for you. It's not huge. But the thing that you have to remember about crystals, any crystal, is that size really does not matter. That one crystal, even though it is apart from the matrix, this crystal is connected. This is all part of the same matrix, right? One of these crystals, this littlest, flattest, silliest looking crystal right here, this crystal can break off and land in a pile off all by itself and be all alone in his little crystal world. But he continues to contain the energy of the whole. You see? Doesn't matter what size that crystal is, that crystal contains the energy of the whole, of all of this. All of this. So don't worry about the sizes of the crystals. And what makes it unique is the different aspects of it. And the fact that this one that I found for you is an ET crystal. Yeah, it's for you. So that's it. Pam Kelsey, take my class. If you get a book on crystals, I recommend the Crystal Bible or one by Anadea Judith. She's a great author. There's the Encyclopedia of Crystals that I highly recommend. Either one of those two. Because they're full color pictures, they'll tell you the matrixing, they'll tell you how they grow, what they mean metaphysically, how to use them. Colette said, it is cheap to send to the States, but is expensive from the States to the UK. Yeah, I sent something to Canada, and it cost twice as much, literally. It went from $15 to $30 as soon as I said, oh, Newfoundland. And she said, where? Oh, thank you, Leslie. Thank you. I just need to get it to you. Message me your address and I'll send it to you, please. It'll be the fastest way. Just message me your address. All right. Here we go. Ready to pull a card? Thank you. She said, yeah, you've been talking all morning. Melissa said the Crystal Bible is amazing. I believe that. I have not had one. I've seen them, but I haven't had one. All right. Is this postcard from Spirit? Just gonna say no. See, I stopped her. Is this postcard from Spirit this morning? It is. All right. Postcards from Spirit by Colette Baron Reed. It was kind of hard to tell. It was colors, and then it was like a bunch of words, squigglies. Carl Perry said, I have Crystal Bible, and I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I highly recommend those. If I'm a visual learner, and I want color pictures. I want the picture to represent what the stone really looks like. I don't want a sketch. I don't want a description. And the little formulas that describes its shape mean nothing to me. But if there's a picture of it and plain English, I'm good. It can be the Queen's English, and I'm still good. You know, it doesn't have to be all scientific fact. There was a book that a buddy of mine just begged me to find for him, and I finally found it at the half price store. And it's a pocket book. I mean, a field guide, softbound field guide book. But it was huge. It was thick for being a field guide book. And I opened it up, and it's like the most boring read I've ever seen. There were no color pictures whatsoever. Everything is written on stock paper like an old Western. book, like a little Louis L'Amour cowboy book. And I couldn't even begin to understand it. So I'm glad there are talented, trained people in this world who do understand the scientific speak. I just do not happen to be one of them at all, not even a little bit. All right. This is Postcards from Spirit by Colette Baron Reed. Beautiful, beautiful deck. My buddy gave me a list, 2.5 pages long, that he had written out of different books to get, where to go dig. You know, if I wanted to go out east, or if I wanted to go west, or if I wanted to go south or north. There were towns and what kind of minerals I would find in those areas. And that is, when he crosses over, you know, and he's still among us, but his life is not long. And he knows that. The world is going to lose a deep well of information. This is Postcards from Spirit. There's 2 cents worth today, says, for you to be fearless. Isn't that beautiful? Be fearless. Dearest you, are you taking yourselves and your problems too seriously? Maybe fear of the future is weighing on you. Would you like to take a break from all that and just start having a little fun? When you stop fixating on what has been making you heavy-hearted, we get a chance to move some magic in your direction. We just need you to let go, just a little. Spirit needs some room and gets very inspired by your laughter when you're having fun. When was the last time you really got loose, silly, and goofy? Maybe you need to go dancing or watch some very funny comedy to make you laugh, or call that one friend you know that will remind you how ridiculous and delightfully giddy you can be. You're going to return refreshed, and renewed, and ready once again to see the world as less daunting. And you will be ready to receive, in perfect timing, the bounty that Spirit has waiting for you. Don't you just love how much we care about you? Roadside Geology. Is that a good book, Lisa? Is that a good book? Roadside Geology. I want to pull another card. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. She's asking us to stop taking everything so serious. You know, when we take things seriously, when we focus on what is wrong in the world, when we are always so worried about what someone else is doing, saying, thinking, when we get angry and we stay angry, it's so much wasted energy. My God, can you imagine the strength of the steam that you carry around with you inside of you because you're so stinking mad at that one person in your world? So mad at them, you choke and just thinking about them. You don't want anything to do with them in your life. You're the only one that freaking knows that. You're the only one that anger is being spent on. You're the only one who knows what's going on inside your head, because you're not telling anybody. You're not sharing it with anyone. You're just seething. All that pent up, aggressive, hate-filled anger, all that jealousy, all that whatever you want to call it, no matter who it's directed at, and no matter the reason, does not make sense. It makes no sense to harbor that much crap within you, because all you're doing is poisoning yourself. That other person, they're going about their life and they're happy. Do you know why? Because they don't even know you're mad at them. And if they do know, they don't know why. And so their problem, your problem, remains your problem. What you're mad about, it's all on you. If you knew what the problem was, you could help them. You know, give them a hand, work it out. But when you don't have a clue, or that other person doesn't have a clue, the one that you're angry at, when they don't have a clue, all you're doing is wasting time. Wasting time, wasting your life, when you could have used all of that energy that you've got churning in your little dynamo. You could use all that energy to create beautiful things in this world. Beautiful things. But instead, you choose to just create a gray darkness that just stays in your world. It's sad. Leslie said, you need to write that down so I can send it to someone else, because I can't remember all of it. You just have to tell them to look up E.T. Crystal. David R. Langson and Darwin R. Spearing are authors of roadside geology books. Cool, cool. They have them for every state. Now that's awesome. I like that, Lisa. She said they have them for every state here in the United States. And very cool. I'll check that out. I really will. I'll check that out. I'll see if I'm going to plan a trip somewhere. Especially, I really would love to go back to Keokuk. That was just fun. Listen here. You glorious thing, you are loved. You are loved. Dear you, do you feel like you need to do all the work and fix everything for everyone, or you may have no value? Maybe you think you need to control everything, or else nothing will get done. Be healed. Be completed. You may think that you need to conform to what others expect of you, or choose a course of action to manipulate an outcome, but we really don't think that would be a good idea. How about this? Even if it makes you temporarily uncomfortable, do something different. Set that boundary. Delegate responsibility to another person. Ask for your needs to be met. Say, help me. Give me a hand. I need some help with this, and I can't go forward and help you with that until you help me with this, because I need help. Ask for your needs to be met. And then when you're faced with an impossible situation or a sticky, enmeshed relationship, repeat this mantra. I didn't cause it. I can't control it, and it's not my job to cure it. And then